Good evening and welcome to our live stream. We're so pleased to have you here, and we want tonight to be interactive as much as possible. Where you might be the only two people in the building, and the sound guy, I guess. Well, thank you again, Matt, for doing this for us. But if you are watching, we would love to hear where you're watching from. If you have any camp stories, we'd love to hear that in the comments, and we look forward to connecting with you throughout tonight.
Yeah, welcome here. If you've signed up with us through our new registration system, ordered your cinnamon buns, now is the time to grab your cinnamon bun, maybe warm it up, or if you're like my household, the 4 cinnamon buns arrived. The 4 cinnamon buns were gone before I left to come here this evening. If you ordered some of our KLBC blend coffee, maybe you've made yourself a cup of that, or whatever you're enjoying this evening, we want you to sit back, enjoy. We're going to be sharing with you some testimonies, some stories. But we had to have food. It's camp. We had to have some great food. And so we're happy that you joined with us here this evening.
We're also looking forward to playing a bit of trivia with you throughout this evening. If you joined us on our last live stream, we used Kahoot as that platform. We've decided to change it up a little bit, and so this time it will be different. So throughout tonight, we'll have different questions popping up on the bottom third of the screen, and we want you to comment below on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever you're watching on. And if you're right, we'll give you points. We'll award bonus points for the fastest answers. And you can win prizes. So our first question tonight is, what year did I start working for Kenosi Lake Bible Camp? If you are one of our top 3 winners, you'll have the choice of 3 different prize options. You can choose 50% off a spot in our KLBC golf tournament coming up Father's Day weekend, I believe it is. So that's about a $50 value. You can choose $50 off of a camp registration, applicable for either road camps or on-site camps. That is a full week of road camp, if you're wondering. Or $40 off of camp merchandise, which is enough to buy a bunny hug. Or if you're from somewhere else, you might call it a hoodie.
Yeah, if you're part of the rest of Canada, we all call it a hoodie there. Second question, we want to let you know that we're not always going to be reading these questions. Sometimes they might just pop up. So question number 2 is, what is the name of our winter discipleship program? Bonus points if you're able to give the full name for it. Tonight is a fundraiser, and so we appreciate any donations that you're able to make. Clay and I were joking as we were on our way down here tonight that we should set a goal marker for what we want to raise this evening, and that if we do, at the end of the evening, Clay and I will exit out by singing karaoke. But then we thought people might not give because they wouldn't want to hear that, and so we thought, well, we should threaten that if we don't reach our goal, Clay and I will sing karaoke, but we want people to come back next time, so we're just not going to sing karaoke at all, and instead be thankful with whatever you're able to give this evening. And so if you'd like to give, you can do so either through e-transfer to KLBC office at kenosi.ca. You can mail a check to Box 217, Kenosi, Saskatchewan, Kenosi Lake, Saskatchewan. If you'd like to make a payment through credit card, you can do so by going to our website, kenosi.ca/support us. The support us link there to make a donation link will send you off to our parent organization, One Hope Canada, and you can make your credit card payment or donation through there. Just be sure to mark it as payable to Kenosi Lake. I guess you could donate to other camps if you'd like to. We like that. And so if you're able to give in whatever way this evening, we would greatly appreciate that. Many of you know this, many of you know our vision statement at Kenosi Lake Bible Camp is to show God's love, to share God's truth, and to build God's family. And this can take root in many different ways. At camp, we seek to share the gospel. We seek to expose campers to the love of Christ, to give them, and in some cases, give them a love that they don't experience anywhere else. But also our vision is to build into God's family, to welcome these kids into. But then as our summer missionaries come, we want them to come and to be built into their faith, to grow in their faith, to become better followers, more committed followers of Christ. And just this week, I received a phone call from one of our former missionaries, and she was taking a job with another not-for-profit and was asking me some questions just about some of the fundraising, just programs that we run, how we run them, this and that. And at the end of the conversation, she just paused and she said she wanted to say thank you again to camp, not to me, but to camp for just the ways in which camp built into her as a young teen. She shared how when she came to camp, as a young teenager, she had this desire to learn how to lead, how to become a leader. She wanted to lead, but didn't know what that looked like or how that would look. And so as she came to camp, we taught her how to lead, how to become a Christian leader. And then as she served with us, we put her into different roles that would stretch her, allow her to grow to become a stronger and stronger leader. And now, as she's out and married and in the workforce, and looks back at that time with us at camp and is so thankful for the work that camp put into helping her to grow as a leader. That's just one of the ways in which we see our vision taking place, taking root at camp. And so we're excited about that. Our theme for this summer is Hidden Treasure. And it comes out of Matthew chapter 13, verse 44, where Jesus tells this incredible two-sentence story. He says, "The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field in which a man found and covered up. And then in his joy, he goes and sells all he has and he buys this field." And Jesus, in this short story, tells this incredible story about this unknown, unnamed man who is just out on this journey, out for this walk. And as he's out walking, he stumbles across this treasure. It wasn't his field, and he recognizes this treasure. And as he looks upon it, he appraises its value at greater than all of his possessions. And so he covers it up, and in his joy, he goes away and he sells everything he has so that he can purchase this field. Why did he need to purchase the field? Well, he needed to purchase the field because he knew in his heart that he couldn't fully experience, fully enjoy everything that treasure had if he held on to what he already had. That in order to fully experience this treasure, he needed to get rid of everything else in his life and to be fully committed to this treasure. And then he could find joy. And that is what Jesus tells us the kingdom of heaven is like. The kingdom of heaven should not be within our grasp. It shouldn't be within my grasp. It shouldn't be within your grasp. And yet, for some reason, because of the incredible sacrifice of Christ, it is. That you and I can experience this treasure, this life with Christ, this life that is far better than anything else, we can experience because of what Christ did for us. And so as we launch into this summer, our theme is Hidden Treasure, and it'll be a welcoming of our campers into this life of pursuing after Christ and Christ alone. So would you join with me? We're going to pray just a blessing over this summer. Lord, we're so thankful for the incredible sacrifice that you made, that we can have a camp that seeks to serve these kids and our communities not because of what we do, but because of what you've already done for us. And so, Lord, we pray a blessing over the kids that are going to be coming this summer. We pray a blessing over the summer missionaries that will be coming and joining with us, over our volunteers, over our prayer supporters, over our donors. Lord, we're so thankful for just the incredible community of people that you've brought together in support of this ministry. And our goal this summer, together as we strive together, our goal is to bring glory to you, to be honor to you, and to be able to share your love with the kids that come to our camp this summer. And so with that, we want to show you a little bit of a highlight video of what this summer is going to look like.
There's just something about being at camp that's special. I don't know whether it's being surrounded by the trees and the fresh air or the lake or the community or what it is, but there's just something about being at camp that every summer you just see people's faces light up as they come. This summer we're excited to be able to welcome you back over the course of many different camp options that we're offering. One that I'll mention just briefly is our family camp. If you're part of our mailing list, you probably recently got a little flyer giving you some more information about family camp. We're offering 2 family camps this year just to spread out the numbers a little bit. So July long weekend and August long weekend, we'll be running family camps, and so registration for that is available online through our website. Last year, not a lot of kids got the opportunity to actually come experience camp at camp, which isn't really surprising because running day camps and being in the middle of nowhere, it was just a lot to ask parents to drive an hour or more for many of them, just to drop their kids off every day and pick them up, and that's just a ton of driving. Obviously, not a lot of parents wanted to do that. And it just didn't seem quite right to have another summer of just 15 kids at a time running around camp. We're used to seeing the place pretty full, and so this year we're taking strides to fill camp up a little bit more, and so that's where our bus comes in. We'll be running day camps again this summer, that's the plan, and using our bus as something of a shuttle service. So for 4 weeks, each week we'll be running to a different community, Monday to Friday, picking kids up in the morning, bringing them to camp for as normal a camp day as possible under whatever the regulations look like at that point, and then running them home each evening. So we'll pick them up, say 1 week in Moosomin, and then on the way back to camp in Woota, and then spend the day at camp and drop them back off on the way back home. Now there is the possibility of running overnight camps. We're just waiting to hear whether that's feasible or not. And if all of a sudden we are allowed to run overnight camps, then those on-site day camps will transition to having an overnight option. And so any kids who are registered will have the opportunity to just pay a little bit of an extra fee and then stay overnight at camp. And so we're excited about the opportunity for that. If you're curious about any dates and locations and those things, that's all listed on our website. So rather than showing a huge slide full of calendars, you can go at your own leisure to kenosi.ca and find all that information there. Recently, I had the chance to catch up with a couple of people who will be instrumental in planning those on-site camps this coming summer, and so we're excited to share with you what they had to say about summer 2021. So we have here Brenna and Karis. They're our two program directors for this coming summer, so we're excited to have them on the team. Karis, how did you initially get involved with camp?
I initially got involved with Kenosi because my mom went to Kenosi as a kid, so it was kind of just something I always wanted to do, just kind of go there to kind of see where she grew up in the summer. So then the one summer I took the BOLD program, and I'd been to other camps, but what I really liked about Kenosi was the community that they had between the campers and the staff. It wasn't as disconnected as I felt there was at other camps, so then I kept coming back.
And we're glad that you did. Brenna, what about you?
My mom was a speaker at Kenosi, and so one summer when I was like 12 or whatever, I don't know, I wanted to go back to camp, but I didn't know where to go, and my mom really liked Kenosi, and I knew one or two people there, so I went to Kenosi, and I really hated it, actually. My first year as a camper, I was that kid that wanted to go home, and I was like convinced my mom was coming on Wednesday to get me, like I was that kid. But then for whatever reason, like the next year I came back and I did the BOLD program, and I loved the people in BOLD, and it was a good time. And then I just kept coming back, and then I was a cabin leader, and then now I'm a program director, and yeah.
It's cool hearing how BOLD played such a role for both of you in developing that community and learning to serve, and just getting that fire that is so evident in both of you. Karis, what was the highlight for you last summer?
I really liked going out to the different communities. And like while we were eating lunch or supper, sometimes you got to speak with some of the volunteers more than we would in a normal year as being like cabin leaders. So it was fun to kind of get to see where these kids are growing up, like their home environment a bit more. Yeah, for sure. Brenna, you weren't in as many road camps, but of the ones that you were at, what was your favorite location?
It's a real toss-up because I got two good ones. But I did really like Estevan. That's the one that sticks in my brain more. Maybe partially because it was kids that I knew and it was my church and stuff like that. But the kids were just really great. Like it just felt like we went and we hung out with them all day. And we were running a program, but it was so chill and so fun to just like come up with inside jokes with them and like just laugh with them, but also still like get to give them a camp program. But that one was my favorite.
What's a way that you have grown while serving at camp?
Yeah. I mean, like there's the obvious, like you always really grow in your faith at camp, right? Because we're a Bible camp. But also I just really felt like camps where I grew as a leader, which is really helpful in my job now. Like I'm an educational assistant, and it really helped me grow in how like I take care of kids in a way. Like it helps me see them as like children of God. Like when you're spending a week with kids and you're like, yeah, you have all these objectives, like you're trying to get them to skills and you're trying to whatever, but you just learn how to see them as children of God and wanting to make sure that they're taken care of and they know that they're loved and they see God's love through you. And I just really learned how to do that at camp and then how to like take that other places.
Karis, what are you most excited about at camp this summer?
I'm really excited about going back to some of the communities that we went to last summer. Because like at camp, like in a normal year, you know what age the kids are, but you don't know where they're coming from or who they are. But when you go to a community, you have more of an expectation of who's going to come if you've been there before. So I'm kind of looking forward to going back and seeing those campers again.
Yeah. Brenna, what are you most excited for this summer?
Honestly, I'm so excited to start planning because like last year I had fun being a program director, but it was like we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't know what to expect. It was like, can we do this? Maybe, sure. Like with everything. So like this year having more time and more knowledge to like come up with a really good program. Like I'm really excited to start working on that and getting something really good ready.
As you just mentioned, there's lots of planning still to happen. But one of the things we're doing this summer is busing kids in from different communities to camp each day for our on-site camps. So how do you guys plan on making the most of those bus rides?
I feel like because these trips are longer than maybe just to the water slide and they're like every day instead of just once a week, kind of like do some activities, like get whiteboard markers and do like hangman on the bus windows. If Brad will allow that. Well, haven't asked Brad yet. But then also like sword duels or whatever it is where you like give a verse and like kids have to find it in their Bible. So kind of like Bible into that.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, let's give all the kids foam swords. And I was like, I love it, but maybe not.
Doesn't seem safe while driving. Yeah.
That's a Bible sword drill. That's good.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you guys out at camp again this summer and seeing all the crazy ideas you come up with and the fun that we'll have as we share the gospel.
Sometimes you change because you want to, and other times change is kind of forced upon you. Last year at camp, it was very much the second option there. COVID forced us to adapt what we were doing, what we had been doing for. I almost gave away the answer to that question. Just realized. I won't tell you. COVID gave us a chance to be creative in what we were doing and how we were seeking to accomplish our purpose, our vision in camp. As I mentioned before, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and so we realized that if campers couldn't come to us, then we would have to take camp to campers. And so last year we went out to 8 different communities. We sent teams of 3 to 5 staff members out, and they stayed the week in the community and ran day camps at local churches. And this year we're doing that again. We changed up the communities just a little bit, but we're doing the same basic idea. Parents last year were super grateful for us stretching ourselves so that their kids had something to do, a way to hear the gospel and have a lot of fun with their friends. And it gave kids the opportunity, without committing to a full week of camp away from home, to still get a taste of what that camp experience was like. So it was a really great introduction to camp, and also just a great way even for veteran campers to enjoy it. So this year, once again, we're sending out teams into communities as listed there that you can see. We're running ages 7 to 13 at a time, which is a bit of a big gap, but we want to be able to have as many kids as possible enjoy camp. And so as much as we can, we'll separate them out into their appropriate age groups and run from 9 to 4 each day, Monday to Friday. So unlike last year where we had smaller segments, this year it'll be like a full day camp, even in communities. We want as many kids as possible to get that camp experience, and so to make it more like camp even this year, we're excited to add a portable climbing wall to our offerings, even on the road, and so that wall will show up at each road camp for a day or 2 at least. Our goal with these day camps is, like everything else that we do, to show God's love, share God's truth, and to build God's family, to continue to impact children and youth with the gospel. The other day, I was talking with one of our former staff members, maybe current staff members. Recruiting is still in process, but Wyatt and Anderson and I caught up, and he was sharing with me how how he's been able to see campers grow over the years and be changed as they come to camp as like an 11-year-old, and then by the time they graduate or stop coming to camp as a teenager, you can just see the transformation happening in them. Wyatt and I actually started working at camp the same year, back in 2016. So there's your answer to the first trivia question. And it's been cool for myself getting to see him take that transformation that he himself has witnessed in his campers. To see him go from kind of a sort of awkward, loud teenage boy to a less awkward, still very loud young man who is passionate about sharing the gospel with his campers. As he alluded to, as we talked, seeing that transformation is such a huge part of camp, and it's one of my favorite things about camp, is to see people grow and change over the years. He's just one of many that I've been able to witness in the past 5 summers. That transformation, that growth is part of why I'm so excited to see the return of our BOLD program this summer. BOLD is our 2-week discipleship work crew camp, stands for Becoming Obedient Lifelong Disciples. And the goal of that camp is well, what the name says, to help kids to become obedient lifelong followers of Jesus, disciples of him. And each 2-week section that they come for, they will spend time having fun like any other campers would, doing the fun classic camp activities. But they'll also spend time as their small group. There's only about 12 kids each session of BOLD, doing intentional Bible studies and discipleship type stuff together, as well as service projects and opportunities to work and see kind of some of the behind the scenes of camp, and get opportunities to see how God has gifted them and can use them in ways that they maybe haven't experienced before. Because in so many young people, they don't really get the same opportunities to serve in their homes or their churches that we can give them at camp. And so to see young people show up at camp and be forced to make their faith their own, to take those steps of understanding the gospel for themselves so that they can share it with the next generation is really cool. And so BOLD has been a huge part of us doing that over the years, and I'm looking forward to that happening again this summer. I know it's been a huge impact in my own life, that transition from going from a camper to a leader, and understanding what my faith actually did and how it makes a difference in telling other people about Jesus. One of the challenges that we faced this year is that last summer, because so much of our programming was disrupted, we didn't have the same number of leaders on our staff team. And so we have a smaller pool to draw from this year as we find leaders for this coming summer. We weren't able to run our BOLD program last summer either, or our teen camp. And so kind of those up and comers, the next generation of leaders, we're sort of missing a year. And so as we try and recruit leaders for this coming summer, and we're not the only camp by any means facing this, there's a bit of a gap and a challenge in finding those young people. And so if you're one of them watching tonight, or your grandchild is, or maybe your kid themselves, we would love for you to consider coming to camp and serving, and not only to enjoy camp and as a camper and to have fun with that, but to take that next step to be transformed yourself as you share the gospel with other people. And maybe you can be a part of helping us to build God's family by showing God's love and sharing God's truth with these kids this summer.
And our need is not just for those summer missionaries, but for the volunteers as well. And volunteers are such a vital part of our ministry. And so we'd love for you to join us, whether that is as a cook, as a first aid, bus driver, custodial, maintenance, billets for our teams that go out on the road. We're also looking for, some of our committees are looking for people as well. Grounds and maintenance, we're specifically looking for an electrician to help us out on that front. Volunteer care is looking for some help there. Golf tournament, as we get ready to plan for this year's golf tournament. Our family camp committee. If you're interested in any of these positions, you can head off to our website, kenosi.ca/volunteer, and you can find some more of the information there. I could stand here and tell you all about how great it is to be a volunteer at KLBC, or why you should come and volunteer with us. We thought it would be better if you actually heard that from one of our volunteers. And so Allison sat down a couple weeks ago on Zoom, as we all sit on Zoom, with one of our volunteers and had this conversation.
So first off, how did you first get involved at KLBC? And then let us know how many years you've been serving and in what roles.
So I guess it would have been like 2014 when we came there with our church camp out the Cola Church. And then that first summer, Caroline Friesen was asking if I would help them with their week. And I think I went for 2 nights and 3 days, but I didn't bring any of my kids. I left them at a sitter or whatever. And then the next year I would go like maybe 1 more day. And then slowly as my kids were getting into camp, it became like the kids hated when I cooked on their week because they wanted that extra week of being a staff kid, right? So I always had to pick a week when none of my kids were at camp so they could all be staff kids. So I guess that would be 6 years.
What has been your favorite part about serving at camp?
You know what, for me, I would say it's meeting new people. Like when I first, like the first time I came, I mean, I like that kind of comfort of knowing people and stuff. But so the first year when I came, I worked with Caroline and them. And I mean, I was getting to know everybody, even at our church at that point, because we were new here. But in the years down the road, I would always just pick a week. I would just go by myself. I would just pick a random week that worked for me. And I'd sign up to be assistant cook. And then you'd meet a whole new people Sunday, like a whole kitchen of new people. But by Friday, Saturday, like they're your friends and they're your family. And I've met some really great people that way. And just coming to camp and getting kind of an overdose of Jesus, I would say. Like at home, you get so busy with just the realities of life, right? And there you can come and you can just focus on serving. You can just focus on Jesus, and you have chapel every day, you have devotions every day, and the topic at camp is all about Jesus. So that part I really enjoy.
Awesome. And so then what would you say if you could pick one thing, like what keeps you coming back to serve with us at KLBC?
I guess what keeps me coming back would be my kids. They're a big draw because like I said, they want to be there. So it helps me to sign up for weeks because I know they'll love it. So just really, it's a great opportunity to go and show a servant heart with your children, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's exciting when your kids want to be there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a particular moment at camp that has impacted you or like a specific memory that you'd like to share?
I was talking with a co-worker or a person that was there for the week as well. And we were just standing in the playground, the kids were playing and we were just chatting. And I just was telling her how I was a little disappointed that my kids don't do devotions. Like I do devotions with them, but I don't see them like initiating it or doing it on their own, like my kind of preteens at the time or teenagers. And then she just asked me a question. She says, so how old were you when you started reading the Bible? And I was like, 25. Like, so it just kind of opened my eyes to the expectations we have of our kids, and like kids are still kids, and they will eventually get there where they desire to do that on their own. And so what stood out to me on that part was that we don't just go to camp to serve, but we also go to learn. Right? Mm-hmm. We can grow and we can be blessed while we are there with the people that we work with. So
it's a great way to model to your kids too, right? And to like those around you, like service. And then also, even when you're talking about devotions and stuff, it's like, as we model that, then that's how they they pick it up and then hopefully do it on their own.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So then is there anything else or anything specific that you'd like to say to the person who's interested in coming to camp to serve, but is maybe unsure or a little nervous about volunteering?
I would just say, like, it's just get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Just do it at least one time. Do it.
Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. That's why you should never wipe your pants with your clicker, apparently. So Dora said, just do it. And so we were bound, I was thinking during that video, I'm like, man, we are cruising. We're almost done. No mishaps. And then it was me. Dora, thank you. I'm glad I waited till basically the end of that video to do so, to accidentally hit the clicker. Thank you, Dora, for sitting down and taking the time to sit with Allison to share your heart. As I mentioned, our volunteers are so vital to our ministry. We couldn't do what we do at camp if it weren't for the men and women, the teenagers that came and served with us every summer, just giving their time, taking time off from work, from their regular life to come and to serve with us. We're so thankful to those of you that have done it, those of you that are considering it. We would love for you to come, even if, as Dora mentioned, even if it's just for a day or two, to come and to join with us out at camp this summer. Our board recognizes just how important our volunteers are. And one of the things that our board's been working on is answering this question essentially. How do we effectively provide for our volunteers throughout their entire experience at camp? Because we understand that while people are coming to serve with us, it's important for us to be giving back to them and to be serving them as well. And that looks like providing them with the information that they need, the adequate information that they need, providing them with great training and resources. And so if you've got feedback, if you've volunteered with us, you've got some great ideas of how we could do a better job of serving you as you come with us. We'd love to hear that. And many of you have heard about our dining hall project that we've talked lots about. This is really where this project kind of came out of, or one of the reasons behind this project is as we seek to provide adequate care for our volunteers, providing them with the proper tools as they come and to serve with us, the proper facilities to come as they serve with us. And as I mentioned, we've talked lots about this, and so instead of me standing here tonight telling you more about it, we wanted to take you right on location at camp, and so you can check this out. Hey everyone, welcome to Kenosha Lake Bible Camp. We wanted to bring you on site. We know we've talked a lot about this project already leading up, and so we wanted to show you, give you some images of what this place is going to look like right here on the ground. So as you can see here behind me, we've laid out what the size of the site will be. The orange tape marks out the corner points of this space, and we're pretty excited about the addition and the size that this new dining hall is going to bring for us. We're going to show you some of the features, what this building is going to include. So this front corner here that I'm standing in will be our office space. You can imagine me opening a door in this spot here, entering into the hallway, and we'll have our washroom facilities right here. So we're needing to actually extend the dining hall space, and we'll take a look inside in a bit. But that dining space will be extended right out to the edge of where the existing building ends currently. And we're just excited about what that'll look like. We'll exit through the office space into a back hallway here. We'll find our laundry room off to this side. Next to the laundry room is our utility room. And then back in this area is going to be where our storage area is all kept. We'll have our walk-in fridge, freezer back in this area, a full storage room that'll be there for all of our food storage stuff. And then we enter into the kitchen. Kitchen that will be met with multiple prep tables. So those are some of the features here. We're going to take a look inside and show you what's going on inside our current building. Let's go. This is really where the project all began. A number of years ago, back in 2017, our building committee had a meeting right here in this location as we chatted through some of the challenges that were being experienced. And underneath me here, as I open up the door, you can see where the floors have had to be reinforced into the extra plywood's been added, new flooring's been put in, and that's because this flooring here has all begun to rot away, where before you could sit here, and we all remember what the floor in the old chapel was like when you could get bouncing. The floor was becoming like that. It was very spongy. It still is very like that, but we've reinforced it to creep us along, to inch us along so we can keep offering camp. This area was not original. This area was built on to the kitchen, and the original kitchen, the roof of the original kitchen still exists in underneath the current roof of the dining hall space there. And so what we found was that if we were to rip off this, we couldn't just rip this off because this end was supporting the rest of the roof. And as we discussed this, it became pretty clear to us all that this wasn't just another opportunity to put a Band-Aid on and to hope to move the camp down a few more years. that we had reached the point where it was time to rip it all off, to essentially rip all those Band-Aids off, those Band-Aids that served us so well for so long, and to start anew, to start fresh. And so that's really where this project transitioned from being a few $100,000 into the $1 million project that we're looking at right now. If you joined with us last year in December during our live stream there with our first attempt, we also had a mishap during that one, so we're 0 for 2. And I think it was me last one too, so that's perfect. At our last live stream, we talked about how we had set the goal of reaching the $200,000 mark by December 31st of 2020. And we can announce here, we've shared with many of you already that we were able to reach that goal. That as Christmas gifts kind of came in right around Christmas there, we reached that marker of $200,000 of giving. We're so thankful for those that made those donations to help us reach that goal. We're now working towards our second goal. That goal is set at $450,000, and we're hoping to attain that milestone, that marker point by July 1st. Currently, since the beginning of December, since the end of December, we've had just about $100,000 that's been given, and so we're nearing the $300,000 mark, and so we're well on our way. And if you can imagine, many of us haven't been able to get out of our homes much or into communities. Doing fundraising has been challenging to say the least, and so we've been so thankful for the men and women that have been choosing to just give and really being unsolicited, just giving towards this project. And we're so thankful for that as the generosity comes towards this project, and as we set our goals towards reaching that $450,000 mark by the beginning of summer, and then ultimately attaining that $1 million project marker as well. If you'd like to give to this project, you can go to our site, kenosi.ca/dining hall. There'll be some information, more information about the project and ways that you can give. You can do so through e-transfer. You can also do so, we're setting up a pledge form there. The form is available on our site. If you'd like a paper copy, just let us know. We can send you out a paper copy as well. What the pledge form does is it allows us to best plan for this project with our contractors. We've had different individuals that have done this already that have either set up monthly giving with the final goal marker in mind, saying they'd like to give so much per month, and it's done through automatic deposit from their account into our account. We can do so through credit card with that way. If you would like to just time your gifts yourself and just letting us know that over the next 2 years you plan on giving this much money towards our project, what that does is just allows us to be able to keep in mind or have an idea of whether or not we're reaching or we're on track with our goals, or if we need to be looking for other avenues to be able to stay on track. And so we'd love for you to be able to consider giving in whatever way you're able to towards this project. Many of you, as we've sat down and shared with this project, or we've had, even in the midst of COVID, because we haven't been able to gather, there's been a lot of questions about, how are the camp's other finances doing? And I love this question, because as we share about our vision for camp and what we want, what we're striving towards, we have so many men and women that want to make sure that we're reaching our needs even from day to day. And we have been so blessed. I was just sharing with a couple recently how I've been blown away. We haven't been able to do a banquet in over a year. We weren't able to do our family camp. Last year, we missed our 3 largest fundraising events. We didn't do any of them, and yet we finished with a surplus at the end of the year. And that was all because of the generosity of people just understanding that there is a need and giving. And so thank you. Thank you for continuing to think about us. Thank you for praying for us and giving in those ways. We're so thankful, and this year already we've been tracking on pace, on our marks, and so we're grateful for that. If you would like to give, you can make a donation, again, as mentioned, through e-transfer to KLBC office at kenosi.ca. You can mail a check to our address, or again, if you'd like to make a credit card donation, you can go to our site, kenosi.ca/support us, and there's a link there that'll take you to our the One Hope page, and you can make your donation through their site. Just be sure to mark it that it's for KLBC, and we would greatly appreciate that. We hope that you've enjoyed this evening. We're so grateful that you joined with us. Again, we know that there's a number of things that you could have been doing this evening, and maybe you had another, the hockey games on the screen beside you. I'm guessing that was what was taking place in my home. Or there was an argument as to whether they got to watch Dad or watch the Leafs. We're not sure. But that you chose to join with us. We're so thankful for that. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope those of you that were able to enjoy a cinnamon bun with us, you can see that mine's gone down in size. That was also part of the issue of wiping crumbs off of me as I was enjoying that. So yes, Kevin, pants wiping is a skill that you can attain at camp. And we're so thankful to Michael's Coffee Shop and Bakery. They're the ones that supplied the cinnamon buns for us. They are also the ones that Michael has designed or developed a KLBC blend roast of coffee. The only way that you can get this coffee is if you purchase it through the camp. And if you purchase it through the camp, all of the funds that are raised through this coffee go towards our dining hall project. We just opened up sales about 2 weeks ago, and we've already sold 50 bags of coffee, which is about right because camp and coffee go hand in hand. And so if you'd like to purchase some coffee through us, just send us an email. You can let us know through Facebook, and we can find a way to get that coffee to you. It's a great way to both feed an addiction and give to a great cause at the same time. As mentioned, tonight is a fundraiser. There's information at the bottom. If you'd like to give, we'd be very thankful for that. We are not going to sing karaoke. Instead, we're going to leave you with just some music. And again, thank you for joining us. Feel free to keep chatting through Facebook if you've connected with someone that you met at camp before. And we hope that you enjoyed the night.
My future came alive. Your love and grace divine. Every moment of my life. You took my darkest hour and filled it with your light. Now my soul will rise, shining my salvation. All glory to your name. Your power ends our shame. Jesus, we lift our endless praise to the highest name. Jesus. Death was finished, we were alive in your endless freedom. Sing it out. From the grave, you have risen on the cross. Oh, death was finished, we were alive in your endless freedom. Oh, glory to your name. Say, Jesus, your power ends our shame. Jesus.